Welcome back to episode 5, I think, of rescoring controversial decisions. Like I always say, predominantly in the UFC, but give me some suggestions of fights outside the UFC to score. There's one that I want to score that's going to be quite difficult because it's a very old UFC fight, um, but we might get into that at a later date. Now, the more eagle-eyed of those amongst you will have maybe recognized what fight I'm going to be rescoring and looking at today. McGregor, Diaz, 2. What a fight. Let's give you a little bit of context. Let's not forget McGregor Diaz won. Diaz stepped in on short notice against McGregor in the March of, I think it's 2015, 2016, sorry, 2016. Let me just double check that it is 2016 because I don't want to get that wrong. And I can tell you now, it does not feel like it was 8 years ago. 2016, 8 years ago. This fight does not feel like it was 8 years ago. Like I say, Diaz stepped in on short notice against McGregor. McGregor accepted a welterweight bout, stepping up 2 weight divisions from featherweight to welterweight, and handed McGregor his first UFC loss. McGregor struggled with his gas tank in that one and claimed that he was inefficient with his energy in their first bout. Heading into the bout, there was a lot of bad blood, press conferences where Diaz walked out, brawls, everything. And the rematch took place in the August. It was supposed to take place at UFC 200. It took place at UFC 202. And again, the fight took place at welterweight because Conor McGregor, being the competitor that he is, or rather was maybe at that time, wanted to right the wrong of his previous loss. So took the fight at welterweight. We had Biggie versus Tupac in the walkout. We had a big line of security separating the two men. The fight had it all. Round one. McGregor opens up with 2 heavy low kicks 10 seconds into the fight. So we already kind of know what McGregor's game plan is going to be in this one. He punishes him again with a low kick 20 seconds later. Nate Diaz lands a good looping shot, but McGregor responds with yet another good leg kick. We saw RDA batter the low leg of Nate Diaz when those guys fought earlier on in both men's UFC career. And Conor McGregor is taking a leaf out of that book. We know Nate Diaz is heavy on the front foot because he's got a boxing style, trained with Andre Ward. McGregor is utilizing and exploiting that heavy lead leg. Conor lands a beautiful body head combo followed by another leg kick. Then lands a lightning quick left counter which drops Nate Diaz. McGregor allows Diaz back to his feet. Diaz lands a nice check hook off the lead hand, forcing McGregor to reset, but there's no real damage in that exchange. Conor lands another good looping rear hand, that left hand of his. Diaz responds with a little showmanship to land a good combo on McGregor. McGregor slips a jab and lands a thudding shot to Diaz's body, scoring shot. Conor also buckles Nate with another good low kick. And to end the round, Conor lands 2 good strikes on Diaz, which forces Diaz to retreat. Round one, unequivocally, no questions asked. A clear 10-9 for McGregor. And ironically, the height and reach of Diaz are actually working against him as he can lean out of the way of McGregor's punches, but that leaves his legs exposed for the leg kick. So 10-9, Conor McGregor in that first round. Round two starts, McGregor, of course, full of confidence. Diaz starts a round, and we can see that he's busted up. He's bloody, but not demotivated. Nate Diaz, we famously have always said Nate Diaz fights only start when he begins to bleed. 25 seconds into round two, McGregor lands a good left hand, which again drops Nate Diaz. Again, allows him back up, and he lands a good left hand before following up with a 1-2, drops Diaz again. So that's 3 times that McGregor has dropped Diaz in the fight now, and we're no more than 7 minutes into it. That power that he's shown time and time again down at featherweight is clearly carrying up to welterweight. Diaz is very bloody now. There's been a lot of damage on the side of McGregor. So McGregor is not only landing the more eye-catching shots with, the body shots in the first round and dropping Nate in the first round. He's dropped him twice in the second round, and he's clearly they're damaging shots. Diaz is busted wide open now. McGregor continues to be elusive, landing another heavy leg kick and avoiding any real big shots by Diaz. Diaz tries to walk McGregor down, but the Irishman stands his ground and counters with a short right hook followed by a leg kick. McGregor's countering well. He's got his eye in. He's quick. He's sharp. He's measured the distance and he's got the distance now. Diaz is throwing a lot, but the quick reactions of McGregor are avoiding 95% of the strikes that Diaz is throwing. None of what Diaz is landing is a damaging shot. McGregor's doing really well. Diaz begins to open up here. He puts pressure on McGregor. He doesn't land anything too heavy. However, because McGregor's moving backwards, Diaz catches him off balance, and it looks like bigger shots are landing. McGregor's retreating. He hasn't quite got his feet under him as stable as he wants. Diaz lands a big shot, and it sends McGregor stumbling backwards towards the cage. Diaz clinches up with McGregor. He lands an elbow and he lands a knee. He lands a good lead hook as McGregor throws a front leg kick, and the American. So this is where, sorry, I'm a little bit confused. This is where Diaz catches McGregor off balance. McGregor throws a front leg kick. Previously, he'd only thrown rear leg kicks. He throws a leg kick off the front leg, his right leg. As he does so, Diaz catches McGregor off balance. He calls him to stumble and squat against the fence. It's not a knockdown. It's not a knockdown, but he stumbles against the fence into a sort of a squatted position. And then Diaz follows this up with a 1-2 to McGregor against the fence. Diaz unloads on McGregor now against the fence. McGregor blocks a lot of the big shots, but he does eat a fair few. And he reacts by landing two good knees to Diaz, who responds with one of his own. And that's pretty much the round. The first 3 minutes were trending towards a 10-8 for McGregor. He scored 2 knockdowns. He's avoiding everything that Diaz is throwing back at him, and he's doing really, really well. But the end of the round for me brings that round to a 10-9. McGregor hasn't done enough over the whole round to win the round, but he didn't do enough over the whole round. Diaz didn't do enough over the whole round to win the round. But with a strong finish, he's pulled it back from what was trending towards a 10-8 without a shadow of a doubt. 2 knockdowns, avoiding all of Diaz's shots. He finished well, beginning to take over in the fight. McGregor's tired now. McGregor's, he's had a lot landed on him. He had success in that round, but Nate Diaz didn't go away. Like I said, first 3 minutes of that round, we're trending towards a 10-8. 10-8 has to be utter domination throughout the round for me. McGregor didn't do that. He dominated the early round. 10-9 for Conor McGregor in that second round. So we've got him 2 rounds up anyway. Round 3. This is a big round. A very big round. McGregor opens up with several jabs, but Diaz is walking him down and forcing Conor McGregor to walk hard. So he's dominating where the fight is taking place. Nate lands a nice 1-2 and forces Conor McGregor into the clinch. McGregor lands a good shot on the break, followed by another slip counter, which backs Diaz up. But note here, McGregor's mind knows what he wants to do. He wants to avoid the shots. He wants to be elusive, as he always is. He wants to be, light on his feet. His mind knows what he wants to do, but his body just isn't willing. He lands another good hard leg kick and another counter on Diaz. But Diaz stopped and slaps McGregor and gets him in the clinch. He's winding McGregor up now. He knows that he's taken over this fight. Diaz lands some good short shots on McGregor. However, Conor lands the biggest strike of the exchange, which is a short elbow. He lands a more damaging strike. So it's volume over damaging shots, and we know that damage is a number one scoring criteria. Diaz lands a good body head combo, on the break, and it forces McGregor to sort of jog away from Diaz and try and get a little bit of distance. Looks up at the clock. We know that McGregor's fatigued here, and we know for a fact that Nate Diaz does not fatigue in fights. McGregor again, he lands 2 good short leg kicks to Nate Diaz. He lands another good leg kick, but this time Nate counters with a lead hook, followed by a 1-2 and a knee, and McGregor ducks down. So he catches McGregor's head. As McGregor ducks down, Diaz catches his head. Diaz is making the reads now. He just unloads on a very tired McGregor, gets in the clinch, goes to work again. Short shots followed by a short step back, unloads it on McGregor again, landing multiple unanswered strikes. Diaz lands a big shot to the body, which inevitably drains the gas tank, and a big knee. And as the round finishes, John McCarthy takes a long look at Conor McGregor on his way back to the corner. It's a dominant round for Diaz. There's no shadow of a doubt that it's a 10 it's a round won by Nate Diaz. For me, it's not enough for a 10-8, but I can see why people have scored it a 10-8 round. McGregor did have some success in that round, let's not forget. It wasn't utter dominance by Nate Diaz. 10-9 Diaz for me. So I've got it 2-1 to Conor McGregor essentially in rounds 10-9, 10-9, and 10-9. Round four. Let's not forget, like I said, John McCarthy takes a long look at McGregor on McGregor's way back to his corner after this one. Round four begins. Big 1-2 by McGregor, but then Diaz responds with one of his own. Diaz is bringing the volume, whereas Conor is picking his shot slightly better, including a nice teep kick up the middle. The damage is on the side of McGregor, and Nate is really bloody now. Two thundering body hooks are landed by Conor McGregor. Hard shot, another hard shot by Conor, an elbow in close. Diaz closes the distance but can't complete the takedown. But he's forcing McGregor to work here. There's a nice knee to the body by Diaz in the clinch and some good shots. So I think Diaz, especially in that third round, but towards the end of the second round, the third round, and now again in the fourth, he knows that he can't fight at distance with Conor. He needs to get it in the clinch, wear Conor out, land the short shots, and try and win the fight on volume and the slightly more damaging shots. But Conor lands a good elbow in close. Again, Nate is largely dictating where the fight is taking place. However, Conor is still countering well when he is in space. Conor's landing the bigger, more damaging shots in this round, countering well and slipping well again. He's got a second wind in this one. And for me, round four is a 10-9 to Conor McGregor. I've got Conor 3-1 up in this round. So unless Nate Diaz scores either a 10-8 or a knockout, regardless of whether he wins the fifth round or not, he loses the fight. Round five. Diaz starts the round still bleeding badly. It's a good exchange, ended with a flying knee by Conor, but Diaz catches it and gets him into the clinch again. But Diaz is really bleeding bad now. He fails on another takedown, but remains in the clinch in the dominant position. He lands a good hook on the break. Diaz covers up, and Conor lands some good strikes. Nate gets busy in the clinch. You know, the two men find themselves in the clinch again. Nate gets busy in the clinch and lands a big elbow. Nate is brings all the pressure in the clinch, and McGregor is just in defensive mode, just looking to survive, looking to see the end of the fight out. Diaz ends the fight by taking McGregor down, but doesn't do any damage. So the takedown, let's not forget, guys, we don't score takedowns. It's just a change of position. It's just a change of position, a takedown. If you do nothing with it, there's no point in taking the fight to the ground. And that's when the two men are finally pulled off each other. They shake hands. They put their arms around each other. There's a lot of mutual respect between the two. I scored that round a 10-9 for Nate Diaz. So my scorecard overall is 48-47 to Conor McGregor. There's no 10-8s in there because each round was highly competitive, apart from maybe round three. 10-8s for me should be utter dominance or multiple knockdowns with no reply throughout the round, and this didn't happen. Round two, multiple knockdowns, but Diaz had a really good finish to round two. Round three, McGregor landed the more damaging shots, but Diaz dominated the round. The official scorecard was 48-47, 48-47, and 47-47. So two scorecards in favor of McGregor and 47-47. Only one judge scored the third round of 10-8 for Diaz, leading to that 47-47 scorecard. So on my scorecard, it isn't a robbery. I think McGregor deserved to win the fight, and you know, I think like I said, I think he was good for the victory, as it were. 48-47 to McGregor. The next episode, I'm going to give you a quick hint. I'm just going to flash it up quickly. Features this man. But that's on the next episode of Rescoring Controversial Judging Decisions. Like the video, subscribe. Let me know in the comments below if you agree. And I'll catch you next time. Thank you.